Interestingly, one of the first people that I would think about putting on that team is somebody who's still currently an executive and doesn't come from business, and that's Wendy Kopp, who is the founder of Teach for America. I mean, here Wendy is creating a gigantic sea change, not just in an industry, but in our entire society, and building an army of people who will help really transform education. And she knows how to do that as well as any entrepreneur. In fact, if you were to say to me, who is my entrepreneur of the decade, it's Wendy Kopp of Teach for America. So whatever kind of company, I would try to have Wendy on there. Then I would also turn to the question of I want people who know how to marry creativity and discipline. And one executive that knew how to do that as well as anyone in the world was a fellow named George Rathman. George Rathman was the founding chief executive of Amgen. And the beauty of Rathman is that he married the kind of need for technology development that you have in biotechnology, which in itself was a hugely disruptive industry for a variety of reasons. But the thing that Rathman had was an ability to put together an incredibly disciplined organization that would place very, very calibrated bets, married to things like true patent-protected innovation and massive breakthroughs and coming up with things like EPO. Another leader that I would want to put on my team is somebody who knows something about culture. And I can think of very few executives who know more about culture and how to build a culture that can keep an army of people dealing with great adversity better than Herb Kelleher of Southwest Airlines. The beauty of Herb at Southwest Airlines is the guy was kind of an unusual bird, but he had such incredible passion for his people, for his company, and that no matter what hit them, his view always was, we come together, we circle the wagons ourselves, we never fight against each other, we are always battling a world and doing it together and preserving that culture. And even in the darkest times, he never, ever, ever compromised that culture. In terms of dealing with kind of the relentless march of technology, I would take Gordon Moore of Intel. Gordon Moore had this amazing ability to be able to see the underlying dynamics. See, what he understood is that technological disruption is never a single moment. I mean, the true disruption wasn't a single chip. It wasn't the 8086 or it wasn't the 1103 DRAM or any of those. It was the underlying process of Moore's Law. Double the number of components every 18 months at affordable cost. And that the contribution they made wasn't about a single product. It was about an underlying process that over time would utterly transform the way society works. And he understood the end game of that. He calculated out and said, if we follow this, what are the inevitable conclusions that would come? And he was even talking about things like personal computers and kinds of things we take for granted today, way back in the 1960s and early 1970s, because he saw the march of technology through Moore's Law. Those would be a few people who I absolutely would want to have on my team.